There's better. Okay. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, interesting. Working outside is interesting with the amount of light and internet, etc. So welcome. If you're here for the first time, I'm glad you've joined us. I hope that you will like and subscribe. Hello, Deborah. I see you. You can listen for a little bit. Okay. So today we are talking about awareness. So awareness is noticing. We may notice beauty outside. What about what's going on inside? So that's where we're diving into how to notice what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're saying. So we're diving into the most life-changing and soul awakening practices that we can cultivate. Awareness is the gateway to healing. It is the flashlight that illuminates the unconscious mind, our thoughts, behaviors, and emotional patterns that we don't even know are running the show. Well, what is awareness? It's everything. It is the observer. It's the moment you catch yourself. What am I doing? What am I saying? I'm reacting. When we notice that inside voice, I'm feeling triggered now. I'm telling myself I'm not good enough. You might feel doubt or shame, or I just shut down emotionally. So without awareness, we live on autopilot, barely awake, mostly asleep. And what awareness does for us is the following. It will help us to stop looping in victim stories. And I remember when I was looping in the victim story, oh dear, it kept me ill. I was sick all the time because I kept talking about all the things from my past that were hurting me, upsetting me. And what I will tell you, it also reveals our inner beliefs. I'm not worthy. I'm too much. It softens our shame, guilt, and fear. It gives us the ability to make choices to respond as opposed to react. Because when we react, that's when we lose friends, we make enemies when we react as opposed to respond. Responding is when we take a deep breath, we notice what we're feeling, take a moment to calm ourselves down before we speak, instead of sending that angry text, instead of phoning that person, or erupting in blame with our loved ones. We don't want to be doing that. So awareness is something that helps us to notice what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, so that we can choose something different. So I'm going to give you a few journal prompts. These will help you to ignite curiosity, awareness, and allow you to work on your shadow self. Because once we start working on our shadow, then it starts to diminish. Those things that have kept us feeling guilt and shame and not well, unworthy, start to diminish, and we start to have the ability to really love ourselves the way we are. So here's a couple of journal prompts that will help you. The first one, what am I feeling in my body right now? What am I feeling in my body right now? What thought just passed through my mind? Was it loving or was it critical? Was I shoulding all over myself? Because I should have done this, I should have known better. When we do that, it is actually abuse. So we don't want to be abusing ourselves. We've had enough of that. The other question, here's another prompt for you. Where am I abandoning myself today? I'm going to go into this a little deeper. Where am I abandoning myself today? What emotion am I avoiding or numbing? Now, there's a lot of different ways we can numb ourselves. We can numb ourselves with ice cream, cake, sweets, cookies, sex, work. A lot of different ways that we can numb ourselves. Numbing is avoidance of feeling what we're feeling, pushing it down, suppressing the emotion as opposed to processing. And I will talk about how to process emotions in just a few moments. So, another prompt is, what story am I telling myself right now that might not be true? Is my reactivity from something from the past, or is it something happening right now? Am I responding to my old story, or am I responding to what's coming up for me today? Here's another one. What does my soul need from me right now? What does my soul need from me right now? What triggers me, and what is that trigger teaching me? I'll tell you a little bit about that one. What triggers me, and what is that trigger teaching me? So, if you had a parent that assaulted your senses, didn't allow you to emote as a child, you may find that as you become an adult, that when that parent engages with you, or it could be a child, it could be a daughter-in-law, a son-in-law, and we are triggered from what that person is saying or doing. So noticing, okay, where have I been triggered by this before? Where have I felt this way before? My mother used to be able to trigger me with just looking at me, okay, or blaming me for my own molestation. That was a big one. All right, so I'd like you to take a nice deep breath with me, because breathing allows us to stay fully present. And that is how we process emotions. So take a nice deep breath, hold it at the top, and exhale through pursed lips like you're blowing out a candle. Take another nice deep breath, hold it at the top, suspending the breath, and then, so whatever you're feeling, if you do this breath work into the emotion, what am I feeling right now? How can I let this move through me? And so breathing into the emotion you're feeling is a healthy and gentle way to process emotions. And that's what we're working to do, to be gentle with your shadow. How can you become gentle with your shadow? Awareness is something that we want to have, but awareness without compassion is cruelty. And shadow work is not about judging your darkness, it's understanding it, meeting it with curiosity, and then choosing something different. So here's a couple suggestions for you. Do you remember when you were a child? A lot of things might have been missing when we were children. So speak to yourself as you would a child who's been hurt. Now, this may sound a little silly, but I will tell you that when we start engaging in this awareness with ourself with compassion, you're not going to want to stop doing it, because it allows you to feel loved. It allows you to feel heard and understood. So there's parts of us that we have suppressed, we've pushed them aside rather than working through them. So here's what I'd like you to start with. I see you. I see you. I know you're scared. It's okay. I'm here. You can even hug yourself. We need 12 hugs a day. Why not give yourself as many hugs as you need, especially if you live alone? And then as you're working through these feelings, these journaling prompts, you can do this. It's called, I pronounce it incorrectly, it's called havening. I said havening in the past, it's havening. So you thank the shadow for what it tried to protect you from. You can write a love letter to the fear that you're experiencing, a love letter to your anger, a love letter to your shame. What you're basically doing is acknowledging the feelings that you're having by journaling about it, writing about it. I used to journal all the time. I would journal about what I was upset about. I would journal um, about what I was processing, what was going on in my life. And then I would go back and look at it a few months down the road and I'd go, wow, I've come so far. So there's a lot of aspects to journaling that make it really powerful for helping you to release and notice how far you've come already. All right, so how's that for you? So here's a couple of daily practices to help you grow awareness. And we've talked about journaling. So journaling about your thoughts and emotions. What did I feel today? What was overpowering? What did I have difficulty processing today? What was my most prevalent emotion? Was it gratitude? Maybe you're starting to be grateful for what you're experiencing, for the lessons that you're learning. Here's another one. You can meditate for 5 to 10 minutes, just sitting in silence, hands in your lap. I like to do the Gyan Mudra. It holds the right and left hemisphere of the brain in quiet awareness and just holding these thoughts in your consciousness. I am aware. I am safe. I am whole. So while you're meditating, you're just holding those mantras in the background of your mind, not out loud, but silently, just floating them through the background of your mind. I am aware. I am safe. I am whole. Now, this next one, we've been talking about this for some time. Mirror work. Standing in front of the mirror, looking into your eyes, and speaking loving kindness. I love you. And it may feel silly at first, but there's nobody there. There's nobody there. It's just you. Practice speaking lovingly to yourself. I love you. You're beautiful. And then the next is to go and ground yourself out in nature. Sit on a rock, sit on the ground, walk on the beach, go barefoot on the grass. Sit up against a tree. Put your back against the trunk of the tree and close your eyes. Ask the tree to take away your sorrow, your pain, your suffering. You'll be surprised at how differently you can feel. Trees are amazing. So grounding yourself in nature, it is a stillness where awareness thrives. And then the next suggestion is to pause before you respond to your child, to your partner, to the clerk at the grocery store. We have a tendency to complain, and complaining is not a good thing. In fact, here's what I've noticed. When we complain, we get ourselves into a spiral, and we might want to complain to other people, and it may feel good initially, but what you may find is that the people that you're complaining to want to spend less time with you because it's negative. And does complaining really help? You might think it does, but it actually keeps you in a downward spiral. And then next thing that you're doing is telling yourself, I should be further ahead than I am. Why am I not more successful? So when we're telling ourselves these types of things, it collapses our field. It makes us feel small. We don't want to do that to ourselves. I just met somebody recently, actually last night, and this gentleman has been a professional athlete, a professional model, and he's hunched over in absolute agony. he couldn't even stand up straight. He was having back spasms. And I told him, I said, it feels like your thoughts are what is causing the problem. They're going to all these medical doctors, all these specialists. Having been there myself, where, I was diagnosed with all kinds of things that they said I'd have for the rest of my life. But changing my thoughts eliminated TMJ, carpal tunnel, fibromyalgia, autoimmune. He has an autoimmune disease. He has fibromyalgia. And he admitted to me that he's been complaining that he's not more successful. I should have known better. When I touched his back and I said, repeat this mantra, I'm loved and supported. We did it 3 times and he started to cry because he'd been suppressing all this pain, all the ways that he was putting himself down. All of these things were causing his back to collapse, because when we're telling ourselves, I'm no good, I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, our body responds. Conversely, when we tell ourselves, I am loved, I am amazing, will you just try it right now? I am loved, I am amazing, I am lovable, I am unique, I loved, I am. So when we tell ourselves loving things, our cells react, our body responds. And one of the things I help people do is lose weight. Most people that are plagued with being overweight keep looking in the mirror and telling themselves the negative thing. The FAT word. I don't even like to use it. And so I will tell you this, I had the same experience when I was telling myself after a heartbreaking divorce, because I was cheated on. I felt terrible. I felt bad. Of course you do when you're rejected and abandoned emotionally. And so I put on 30 pounds. Every time I looked at myself, I told myself I was fat, and I kept getting heavier and heavier. So the opposite of that is looking at yourself and telling yourself, you're amazing. Your body is amazing. Now, your body is amazing. You're not lying. It is amazing. You have arms that hold, hands that can caress and touch, eyes that can see, ears that can hear, a mouth that can speak and not speak, that can say kind words, that can kiss. So have great gratitude for your body, gratitude for your body parts. Start at the top of your head. I love my head. I love my scalp. I love my hair, if you have hair. I love my face. I love my forehead. I love my throat. I love my chest. I love my breasts. I love my abdomen. I love my arms. I love my hands. I love my belly. I love my butt. I love my thighs. I love my knees. I love my calves. I love my feet. And notice how you feel. So we are working on healing the body by speaking words of love, admiration, acceptance, and this will change your reality. So I'd love to hear, how did this land for you? So the more that we can tell ourselves how loved we are, how accepted we are, the better we start to feel and our health improves. So processing our emotions will help us. Noticing what we're thinking, what we're saying to ourselves, and noticing what we're feeling are all aspects of healing the past and healing our present state. And Ash in our chat had said, gratitude. Absolutely. And this is what this loving kindness is all about. I'm grateful for everything that I have. I'm grateful for my hair, my face, my chest, my arms. I'm grateful for my fabulous brain. I'm grateful for this body. Gratitude can shift the way you feel faster than anything. If you're in an upset state, if you are complaining, if something has upset you, shift into gratitude is one of the fastest ways to change your emotional state. So if you love this, I work with clients individually and in group. I have courses on my website, jenniferelizabethmasters.com. I have I've probably over 25 different courses about manifestation, courses about healing relationships, loving yourself, healing the mother wound. So there's lots of different ways I work with you. And I help you awaken, help you come home. Wow. Help you come home to a loving state. You deserve to be loved. It must be time to go. So thanks for being here. I hope you have subscribed. If you haven't, please do so. Like and subscribe. It sure helps the channel. Deborah's saying, I always need a reminder. And I'll add these for sure. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you all. Much love to you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.